I'm going to try to be short and quick in this one. It's Auburn at home against Clemson. Auburn's getting 7.5 points. I've done videos in the past few weeks, a write up on why I played Auburn plus 7.5, plus 8 is actually the number I got. Same thing, 7.5 just about everywhere right now. So go grab that. I like it. I got a little bit worried last week. There was a rumor that Sean White, who's going to be starting at quarterback for Auburn, failed some drug test and might not actually play in week one. At the time, there was a minus 6.5, and then everywhere else was just sevens. So I played back a little bit on the 6.5 with a shot of it landing seven and just winning both bets. But overall, I do have a true position here on Auburn that I've been, telling people to bet. This is a quote unquote free play. So go ahead, go grab it if you want, or if you're leaning Auburn anyways, then fire at it. If you're leaning Clemson, maybe this keeps you off. Ultimately, I'm buying on Auburn in general coming into the season. I've played their over 6.5 and 7 wins as far as their season win total goes. If you're buying on a team that's being undervalued entering the season, the best time to buy on them would be the first week of the season when they're more undervalued than maybe they will be in week two or week three. The number 7.5, and I make it 3.5. That's a really big edge. They're at home against a team of Clemson. Obviously, they were all, in the national championship game against Alabama, talented as all can be. Especially offensively with Watson and Mike Williams at receiver, I believe is his name. But defensively, I think they're going to have some rough patches and issues trying to replace a lot of the studs they had, especially on the defensive line. And Auburn's going to be trying to run the ball anyways, regularly, and especially with Sean White at quarterback, who does have an arm and can throw the ball. Hopefully, make some throws. Uh, that should open up more those running lanes, obviously, for those running backs, and ultimately the offensive line is going to be a lot less pressured. I think I was remembering the stats. These are going to probably be wrong, but it was something about yards per game for Auburn the last 3 years. And from 3 years ago, their national title run team, to last year, it was like over 100 yards per game less on the ground. Partly because they didn't have anyone that could throw the ball last year. And even when White did try to jump in and play here and there, it just wasn't a good situation. Now he's at an off season to prep and a little more experience under his belt. But teams knew they were going to run. They always run. Gus Malzahn's going to run the ball, and they could stop it, especially in the SEC. Eventually, you can run him down. But if White's able to complete passes, even at a very low rate, he doesn't have to be slinging it everywhere. He just needs to be able to have that threat, so defenses can't just crash and stack the line. And I think he can. Apparently, in practice, he's God. He's like the best guy. I mean, supposedly they're going to throw actually more just because he can. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they're right. The reports are positive though on him. So I like Auburn quite a bit. They're going to keep this close. If this was week 10 and Auburn wasn't who I expected they were going to be, and Clemson's defense was able to kind of get their rhythm going together, I'd maybe be staying away. But the spot here, week one, to play against Clemson, a team that's going to be as hyped up and maybe overvalued as possible, versus a team like Auburn, like I said, who I think is undervalued. It's a perfect buy low and sell high kind of combined forces playing in the same game. So it adds up 4 points of value in the number. Across 7 and 4, it's plenty of value. So take Auburn plus 7.5. Wouldn't be surprised if it came back down to 6.5, 7 before close. So sooner the better.